Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. We're back. It's the 6th of January, 2025. So a very happy new year to you. Yes, I should really be saying hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. We're not dispensing with that with our new remixed Good Morning Portugal show. However, this is the new format. We're still an hour long. We are an hour earlier. As you can see, we've just started after 8 o'clock in the morning. And good morning to you if you're watching the replay at 9 o'clock this morning. Good to see you, sleepyhead. Maybe you can join us live tomorrow morning, Tuesday. And for the first 20 minutes, we will be doing this very new, all new Bon Dia Daily with a little bit of news, weather, language and culture, and a smattering of well-being, inspiration, and information. So familiar themes, but a little bit more organized for those of you who just want 20 minutes of bite-sized information to keep you abreast of what's going on here in Portugal from a Gumper perspective, from a Good Morning Portugal perspective, uplifting, positive and upbeat first thing in the morning. And so we'll start with a little bit of news. Let me just bring the right screen to share with you. How are you doing this morning? Just let me say a few quick hellos as well. Good morning to you, Deagle. Great to see you. To see you too, Mel. João Ernesto, hope you're feeling better. Bon dia, Portugal, from João Ernesto up there. And we shall be returning to the north as well in just a moment to see how some people welcomed the new year in. Coach Turner in as well, noticing that it's a rejigged show and a new midday show as well. I meant to do a screenshot of the new reality TV homepage where me and Mrs. M will be at midday. We're actually, this is the first bit of big news. Close to home, me and Mrs. M are kicking off the first live transmission of new reality TV a little bit later on. Hey, Mrs. M, look who's here as well. Happy. How are we? New Year, everyone, as well there. Join us at midday if you'd like to join in on the fun and that historic moment. Whenever a radio station is launched, it's amazing to be the first broadcaster, I think, isn't it? Is it Tony Blackburn who was the first on Radio 1, maybe? I'm not sure. But what an honour and a privilege it is to kick off the first live show on new reality TV a little bit later on today. So that's the first bit of important news. Before we go to our first news story or stories with our particular take, and I'll give you a bit of the backstory on the angle for how I want to share the news with you. Let's have a look at how the new year was welcomed in the capital. Thank you very much to Lee McGrady for this. This is amazing. We're very elemental over here. This is fire and air, I suppose you might say. We'll come back to earth and water in just a moment.
I know, it's mental, isn't it? Wow. It's a good display this year.
Now, if you were thinking enough already with that minute, it was a short basically, that went on, I think, for about half an hour, according to Lee McGrady, whose review you could hear there. Mental, innit? Watching with little Eve. What an incredible way to welcome in the new year there in Lisbon. Up a little bit more peaceful New Year's Day. Look at these crazy guys.
Yes! Yes! Happy New Year! I feel like I can sing in the soprano choir.
Wait, again! We didn't take pictures again!
Amazing, eh? Nice Grundies there, Bob, in a nice magenta, I think. I think that was you. Bob up there in Pontalima, or nearby anyway, having a dip. Yeah, and as I was saying, very elemental. We had fire and air, didn't we, with the firework display? And there were a lot of fireworks. We had loads of fireworks here in San Martino de Porto. And there a little bit of water to welcome the day. And it sounded really cold, didn't it? Right, now I've got my first issue here of share. I was up late last night till about 3 a.m, and I wanted to share a screen with you now, which I'm used to doing in Chrome. However, Chrome at about 3 this morning wouldn't allow me to use my camera or microphone. So I'm going to see if this will work now with Firefox. Oh, I see. That's quite nice. Maybe that will work if I do that right there, and then click across to. Oh, and I've got the look. It's like looking at the mirrors inside an elevator, isn't it? That's not going to work. I'm going to have to find a different way of doing that for you, or just read to you the news, the angle on the news that I want to bring to you on these weekday mornings. Yes, Bob and Viv, a great dip, and a bon dia todos as well, and a bit like the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. Is that a review of the fireworks in Lisbon there, John? Mr. S also in this morning. A bit of Tony time too. Bon dia, happy Monday, and a great week ahead. Thank you very much for that. And Karen and Mike are back, and Kat. We had a great trip to Chicago for the holidays, but we are glad to be back home in Portugal. Here's toasting to a healthy and prosperous 2025. Tony time, man in the Minha. Yes, can you see? This is actually my kitchen. This is not one of those green screens. I'm broadcasting the breakfast show from my kitchen to yours. If you are anywhere near your kitchen, or certainly from my kitchen to wherever you happen to be. The breakfast show, what better room to do that from here in the kitchen of Casa Munson. Your voice soothes the news, Carl. Read away. Okay, well, I'm not going to do anything too controversial or anything that winds anybody up. We've got James to come at 20 past the hour, and Tig James joining us at 8:40 as well. Tig James, MBE. Glad you're back. Glad you got back. Those blizzards look pretty tricky to navigate to Mike and Karen. Good morning to you, Peter. Good to see you as well. Bon dia, alegria from you. Right, now let me see if I can share this screen one more time here. This is different, you see, because I am now using Firefox rather than Chrome, which I would be happy to use, but it wouldn't let me use it. Okay, so I've got share screen. Let me see if it will allow me to do this. Select window or screen. It doesn't seem to like that, which is a shame, really, because I'd love to be able to show you what I'm trying to show you right now. Select window or screen. Not now, it says. Always block. Not now. That's really weird. Is that your browser has blocked your screen? Click the screen icon in your address bar to allow access. Well, that's a bit of a, basically a bit of a poo-poo, right, right there. You can look at this yourself, right? I'm not gonna let this stop me sharing with you my angle on the news and a bit of backstory about it. We've got well-being to come as well, and a bit of language and culture, so I better crack on. Now, this is from my most recent article in the Portugal Resident, and I when talking about the news, which is this is what I'm getting round to here, is the angle on the news. You can go and find out gloom and doom anywhere you like, basically, can't you, on every corner of the internet. And it's striking a balance here between remaining informed and interested in what's going on, where the news, the information is useful and informative. So I say here in the Portugal Resident, the problem child for me is news and how to keep viewers abreast of global and domestic matters. Abreast, that got your attention, Pete. Without souring the milk they're about to pour in their morning coffee. I've got mine here. What I do most often and readily is talk about having a great life in Portugal, despite the inevitable challenges that no country or lifestyle is free of. And wherever the 20% of problems feels like 80% of our lives, we chip in with a virtual shoulder to cry on and a healthy dollop of practical suggestions in the comments. That's what I think that sums up Good Morning Portugal very nicely, right? A virtual shoulder to cry on if you need it, if things are getting difficult, and plenty, well, 20% shoulder and 80% practical solutions in the comments. If you've got any sort of difficulty, you let us know. And join us, of course, at Portugal Club on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 if you want to unpack anything and get a bit of help from the community. Anyway, how, as the life-loving, upbeat and positive morning show for people who love life in Portugal, do we grasp that news nettle without succumbing to the negativity or having anyone reaching for the off button? This quandary is made worse by my own recent case of mediapathy, where my interest in world events has reached torpor level. And it's still a bit like that, despite this being quite the spicy year, I think, that we've entered into. I still find it difficult to dig deep into world news. Some friends applauded this affliction, declaring their own long-standing disinterest or disengagement. That's you, James, and others. Another has accused me, you, Tony the Portugueser, of not being interested in the world and found my condition quite disturbing, even callous. Just tried the cough button on the new mixer there. I think that worked, didn't it? Whilst I'll take third and fourth opinions on my mass media malady, that still leaves me with a wish to inform and uplift of a morning, which I now realise in the rereading makes me sound like a Braille wonder bra. That's me wanting to inform and uplift. Whilst I suspect none of the den's dragons will be taking this idea to the next round, the Braille wonder bra that is, literary lingerie does give me another idea to add a little humour to the news agenda. Maybe I can share what's going on in the world like a feedback sandwich where the sometimes hard to digest cheese and ham of life's toshtamishta are wrapped both sides by a slice of melt in the mouth doughy delight. In that spirit, let's see if this confected compromise has legs with some cheeky and chirpy reporting on some recent and real news that you may have missed or managed until now, of course, to avoid. So I've got some stories here as they are now known. Isn't it funny how the news is called stories? And I fall into that trap myself as much as I dislike it. First up is a very fresh and I imagine much welcome technological transition, which demands that all small and medium-sized devices, such as portable phones, headphone chargers and tablets sold in the European Union, will have to be equipped with a USB Type-C port. Hooray, applause. I think I've got some of those applause somewhere. No, that's the bleep. Yeah, there you go. Yes, people are happy about this. USB, universal. Yeah, all right. Universal Type-C port. In case you don't know which one this is, Grandad, it's the one wonder of wonders that can be inserted into the device any way up. Praise be, I hear you say, as someone who, like everyone, has struggled for years with the once miraculous USB Type-A that never went in first time, even if it was right side up. And I had this only yesterday while I was rejigging the studio here. Expect that to be something you will explain to perplexed grandchildren, thanks to directive. I've got a drum roll here somewhere as well. That's not it. That's not the drum roll. Okay, directive. What about this one? What about this one? No. And oh, that's weird, isn't it?
And so is that. Luke, I am your father.
Okay. Directive 2022. Don't, buttons are not toys, Carl. And Directive 2022-2380, known colloquially as the common charging solution to reduce e-waste and solve market fragmentation. USB, by the way, stands for Universal Serial Bus, and not utterly stupid bloody thing that many of us have uttered when struggling to insert them. A bit like a trainee vet at a dairy farm. Right, I better move on because I've got a couple of things I want to include before James joins us. But there is also the Tupperware story, which is extended to Trumpaware, basically. Things that turn from things that turn from white to orange. I ruined that, didn't I? Trumpaware. And also the new US ambassador. Read more about that over on the homepage there. Right, okay, next up then, with language and culture. And I hopefully will be able to get this onto the screen. But this is my super de Pedra story. Now, this is fantastic. This is my wonderful neighbors, Ian and Elena. Elena's mum, Aida, sent me the shushu, and as you may remember, the shushu that scattered soil onto the keyboard when I was sharing the good news of being given some shushu, and I just give me a massive avocado somewhere here. I would say it's nearly as big as my head, but nothing is quite as big as my head. I will hold it up next to a euro coin in the coming days. But she's been sending me these lovely things. She's delighted to be featured on YouTube, and so decided to send me it's not a comfort package, but a hospitality package, a Portuguese bag of goodness and kindness. Let me just bring this onto the stage here and talk you through it, because when we tried to record it yesterday, unfortunately the sound didn't work. So let me see if I can, yeah, here we go. If you look at the pictures there, you'll see we've got the bag that's come from Aida, and it's from Oforno, which is in Almarin. This is a lot of, there's some language and there's some cultural information here. The first out of the bag there is that box of cogido meats. This isn't streaming very well, is it? There we go. I'm having a sniff of the meat there, so to speak. Let's see. It's a bit laggy at my end. I don't know how it's playing for you. And there's a surprised look on my face. Look, and there's the first chorizo. And I think we've got more chorizos to come. This is the second chorizo, had Mrs. M giggling a little bit. Oh, no, that's not the second one, the third one, I think. So there you go. We had a black sausage, first of all. And then we've got the more conventional. And then this one, which had Mrs. M really giggling in the corner of the room as she was trying to record me. She got the video. Unfortunately, we didn't get the sound. And look, the pièce de résistance that came out of that bag from Oforno in Almarin is the magnificent sopa de pedra, which you're about to see in just a minute when the laggy video. There we go. Look at this. And yeah, that's a whole big bucket there of sopa de pedra, which is probably, I need to tell you that story. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow as the continued adventures of sopa de pedra tomorrow, which I won't give the game away. What is sopa de pedra? Sopa, very important, of course, here in Portugal, if we're talking about language and culture. Pedra, what ingredient is that soup made out of? I'm going to get rid of that because that's not streaming very well, but suffice to say, you saw that big bucket of sopa de pedra. The family loved it yesterday, tucked in, and that's the evidence. So thank you, Aida. You are so lovely and kind, and thank you very much for all that wonderful food that you sent for us to try. Much appreciated. And I said I'd try it on Monday morning, but she said, oh, no, it won't last until then. James coming up in a couple of minutes. So between now and then, I went on a little bit too long about the news, and I haven't even done the weather yet, so I'll come back to the weather, maybe do the weather at the end of the show. Who cares? James doesn't. But let's go into this message from the coach, shall we, as the first of our smatterings of well-being, information and inspiration, and we'll talk to James after.
Well, all our gumpers, and a happy new year to you all. If you're anything like me, you've been a bit out of sorts over the last couple of weeks. Well, certainly out of a routine, and I have done almost no exercise at all in the last 2 weeks, or since I guess the weekend before Christmas. So I'm feeling firstly rather unfit, secondly a bit lardy, not surprising over Christmas. And I've noticed that my muscle tone has sort of degraded, even in just that short period of time. So, need to get back on it. I'm out for a short walk, gentle, not too quick, just to start the process of getting back into a routine. And I think that probably applies to a lot of us. So see if you can get out. Walking is the best exercise to get back into some sort of vague fitness routine. As you can see, it's all a bit frosty around here at the moment, and I think we've got quite a few days of this before it begins to get slightly warmer again. But see if you can do a couple of 10-15 minute walks every day. Find an excuse, go get the paper, get the bread, or like me, go for a coffee. So I'm heading for a coffee right now. I need to get kick-started in the morning. Hope you're all well. Hope you've had a great festive break, and we're looking forward to a vibrant and changing, according to Mr. Munson, 2025. Hope you have a great one.